Am I the a-hole for announcing our pregnancy at my brother's wedding after he proposed at mine? My brother said he was going to propose at my wedding. I told him no, that it was a day about myself and my wife and we did not want any distractions. My mom lost her shit. She said that he wanted family he might not see again for a while to be a part of the proposal. I said I did not give a shit, and that if he did it I would have him kicked out. He did it, and my mom said if I tried kicking him out she would leave too. I just remember seething inside. My brother got married last weekend. Instead of a welcome to the family toast, I used the time to announce that we were expecting our first baby. My mom was upset, but my grandmother told her to sit down and shut up. We spent most of the reception talking to family we would not see again for a while about our coming baby. My mom says I was an asshole for taking attention away from my brother on his wedding day. She got really mad when I reminded her that she threatened to leave my wedding if I kicked him out after he proposed. I have the screen cap of the text messages. Am I the a-hole for firing my brother after he proposed at my wedding? So a bit of background. I own a plumbing company and hired my brother 3 years ago. He was jobless after the pandemic, and I offered for him to come work for me. He was 22 at the time, and is now looking to become a master plumber and start his own business. At my wedding, in which he was the best man, he decided that during his speech he would give us all a big surprise, and decided to propose to his longtime girlfriend. Me and my wife were appalled. We both feel like he stole the shine from our day. Everyone else in our families were so excited and kept taking pictures with her, looking at the ring, etc. I decided to fire him the very next day. He still doesn't understand why. He claims I'm being selfish and irrational, and our parents agree. They're saying that business should be separate from our personal lives, but I just can't overlook what he did and how he ruined our day. Am I overthinking this? EDIT. I should have mentioned this, but he will be getting severance. He is still my brother, and I wouldn't let him lose his home over this. But as a small business, I can't imagine seeing him every day at work. Not now at least. Edit 2. I reached out to him and we plan on speaking later today in person. Edit 3. I love all of the people who say you've been looking for a reason to fire him, or you're just jealous. He was my best man. I never felt upset about him opening his own business. In fact, he has my complete blessing. This job was only supposed to be to get him on his feet again. I'm so happy he liked the field and wants to go further in it. There was no malice before this incident. Am I the a-hole for not wanting my polycule parents at my wedding? My parents are in a polycule relationship with a man. I've always been mildly uncomfortable with it just due to a variety of features about the whole thing. For starters, the man is as young as I am, and he basically now lives in my former room growing up. I don't say anything about it as it's their life, and they can live it as they like, but, and I'll be completely honest here, all of it sort of discomforts me. Nevertheless, I have my own life and I still love them, and I try not to think of that in any capacity. They are happy, and that's good for them. With that background out of the way, I am getting married soon, and I wanted my parents to be their OFC. They were happy for me, and it was great. Then and I got to arranging everything for the wedding, and we eventually began arranging the seating. I wanted to run my seating plan by my parents as they know some people better. So I mailed it to them and asked them to look it over. They looked it over, and then they called me that I had missed a seat for Dave, fake name for their significant other. I told them I didn't think Dave would be coming. They said they would be all coming, and I said I'm not sure if it's a good idea. I tried to tiptoe to gently tell them to not bring Dave, but they were insistent. So I was frank with them. I told them I was uncomfortable with Dave coming, and I wanted to share my special day with them, not Dave. I tried to explain why I didn't think it was appropriate. At this point, things took a turn for the worse. We had a back and forth which basically devolved into a fight. Eventually, they basically said they'd much rather just not come if they couldn't come as a couple. I, in a moment of anger, then said great, then don't come in a passive-aggressive tone. I haven't talked to my parents since then. In a way, I feel like they've changed so much from when I was young. I still love them, and I still wanted them to come. But all of this is just not how I imagine my wedding going. It's their life to live, but this is my wedding. It's supposed to be about me and my SO surrounded by people we cherish. Dave and I have no relationship. He is a stranger to me, and respectfully, I genuinely am completely fine with that. I want them to come, but if they want to bring Dave, I'd much rather they just don't. I love them, but I don't want Dave there. So, am I the a-hole at it? We're not doing a +1 system. The wedding is only people we love and cherish, and their families that we love and cherish. It's a 53-person wedding, so it isn't huge. People have also asked me for my gender and age. So, I am 26 male, my fiance is 28 male, Dave is 27 male, my mom is 50 for female, and my dad is 55 male. Am I the a-hole for doing a half-ass job taking family pictures at a wedding? After being told to shut up and stop being a smartass, I was taking pictures at a family wedding as a favor. I was being paid about half of what I normally charge, and I was fine with it. The bride is my favorite cousin, and her husband is amazing. During the formals, the wedding party was great, and I got lots of great shots. When it came time to take pictures of different family groups with a couple people were assholes. They wouldn't stop talking or looking away from the camera. I tried politely reminding everyone that the camera was the big black thing on the tripod, and that it took still images, not video. I was repeatedly told to shut up and stop being a smartass, and that they knew what a camera was. I asked my wife to record video of the responses from me. My cousin was delighted with the pictures from the ceremony, the formals, and the reception. She laughed her ass off at the family pictures, and about half of them people are looking off in all directions instead of at the camera. And most of those there are also people with their mouths open. She thought they were hilarious, and her husband agreed. I started getting shit on social media from my family about the terrible pictures. I replied that I had tried to explain to them that the camera was the big black thing on the tripod, and that it only took still pictures. They said I should have waited for them to be ready. So I started posting the short video clips of people being jackasses towards me. My mom said that I went too far, and that they won't ask me to take pictures for them again. I did a fake cry and said boo-hoo. She called me a smart aleck. Please let me state that I do not think I am the asshole in this situation, but many people do. They are upset because they don't often dress up and get together, and they didn't get good pictures. Am I the a-hole for making my husband leave a wedding reception with me? My husband, 30 for male, and I, 30 to female, have been married for 8 years and have 2 kids, 6 and 4. I am currently 7 months pregnant with our 3rd child. This has been by far my worst pregnancy. Overall health-wise, me and baby are fine, no major issues. But the general fatigue and discomfort of being pregnant, while also having other kids to take care of, is wearing on me. I've also had more nausea and terrible heartburn, as a result of me being tired literally all the time. My husband has had to take on a lot of additional household and childcare duties. He's been great about it, and things are still running smoothly. Even though I can do about 1/3 of the household and kid stuff I usually do. This past weekend we attended a wedding for one of my friends from college. My husband knows a lot of people in this friend group, and he was really looking forward to some adult social interaction. The wedding was a 3-hour drive from our place, so he got his parents to babysit and booked a hotel, so we wouldn't have to drive home and could enjoy the reception. I felt fine all day up until halfway through the reception, but it was like I hit a wall energy-wise and started getting terrible heartburn. My husband was off mingling with people, while I pretty much just sat at a table for over an hour, talking with whoever came by to say hi. My husband came over to check on me, and I told him that I wasn't feeling well and wanted to leave. He asked if I would be comfortable taking the shuttle back to the hotel by myself, so that he could stick around and keep socializing. I told him I want him to come back to the room with me in case I start feeling worse, so that he can take care of me. He didn't protest or argue with me, but he did give a big sigh in the okay fine kind of way. When we got back to the room, I was so exhausted that I fell asleep immediately. He was short with me all morning as we were getting ready to leave. A lot of one-word answers kind of stuff. On the way home I asked him what his deal was, and he said he's frustrated that I made him go back to the room with me only for me to fall asleep. He said if he knew I was just going to fall asleep, he would have stayed at the reception for longer. He said that this was the first social interaction he's had in months, and with the new baby coming, will probably be his last social interaction like that for months again. I told him that I didn't make him come back with me. I just told him I wanted him to in case I felt worse. I also told him my health should be his priority over any social event anyway. He said that wasn't really giving him a choice because if he stayed, even if I fell asleep right away like I did, I would still hold it against him that he chose wrong. He said he was just enjoying behaving like an adult instead of a dad for one night, and he's allowed to be frustrated. That was cut short. It might just be hormones, but his attitude is making me feel guilty about this. Am I the a-hole for stating no pets at my wedding? I'm getting married next year in an outdoorsy nature reserve in some woods with a barn. Because it's in a nature reserve, the venue let us know that we couldn't have dogs at our wedding, unless it was very specifically our dog who they met before to check they would be well behaved, would stay on the lead the whole time, etc. Our dog is a rescue and actually still a little nervy around new people, so we decided it was best if she stayed home with a sitter, and we just had a dog-free wedding. We sent out save the dates last week, and a couple days ago I got a message from my cousin, asking if we'd forgotten to put his dog's name on the invite. The thing is, his dog is not at all trained. He jumps up at people, barks and whines constantly if he's not getting attention. Has extreme separation anxiety to the point where they can't even both go to the bathroom at the same time. Or he will destroy furniture, has been known to nip when he gets excited, and is generally just not well behaved. This is completely my cousin's fault for getting a high-energy breed and then not doing any training with him. But my point is that if I were to invite a NY dog, this is the last one I'd choose, because his behavior is not suited to a group event where it will be loud and stressful for the dog. I replied and explained we couldn't have dogs, unfortunately. At this point, he kicked off and asked if I was expecting him to pay for a new suit, travel, hotel, etc., and now a weekend at a kennels, and if his dog wasn't invited, he wasn't going to come, because his dog's separation anxiety means he cannot be left with anyone else. I was pretty pissed off, but replied and said I totally understand that. Traveling here would be an expense for him, and if the extra money needed for a sitter, kennels, meant he couldn't come. I was sad he won't make it, but understand and would be great to catch up some other time. He never replied, and I left it. I really didn't think I'd done anything wrong, TBH. But now I'm being hassled by multiple members of my family who are telling me I'm being a stubborn asshole for not making an exception for this one dog. My mom's argument is that if we're not taking our dog, my cousin's dog can be there instead, and that I'm causing a huge family row because we're being Britazilla Y. Sometimes I can be a bit clueless, and will definitely apologize if I am in the wrong. So, Reddit, am I the asshole at it? My cousin wants to bring his untrained, destructive dog to my wedding. I said no, and now my whole family are acting like I've started World War III. I can be a bit dumb sometimes with things like this. Am I the a-hole?